My name is Mike Gaiman, President and CEO of the Greater Columbus, Georgia Chamber of Commerce, and I am honored to play a small part in just welcoming you on behalf of our Chair, Jay Alexander, our Board of Directors, many of them who are here, and our staff. This is a game-changing opportunity for our region. I don't know how many times you have the opportunity to participate in things that you truly know. I was there when it began, and now look at what has happened to our community and our region. We think today's announcement will be one of those significant events. We have Mayor Teresa Tomlinson here with us. Mayor, thank you for joining us. I saw Councilman Judy Thomas here, and are there other City Council folks? Thank you all for being here. We have been known for our public-private partnerships, as you all know. It is the public sector and the private sector finding ways to work together to make magic happen. Some folks call those dreams, some call them visions, and others call them hallucinations. We've had a lot of hallucinations in our community. Do you remember when we started talking about what we could do along the river bank of the Chattahoochee River, and now we have one of the finest river walks to be found anywhere? Some of you might remember when we started talking about the possibility of hosting a little event called Women's Fast Pitch Softball. And we're an Olympic city because of that. We recall from a business standpoint when Total Systems was having a problem with programmers, and their consultant said you need to move out of the state of Georgia to where you can find programmers. Hallucination was born. We can fix that. And the ICAP program was born. And Total System had no problems finding programmers. Why? Because we found a way to work together, public and private, for the good of what the issues are. That's our reputation around here. So you can call it whatever you want to call it. Shall we just say we're a community that knows how to get things done, and we're going to continue to do that, and today's announcement will serve as another great opportunity for us to do that. It's my pleasure to introduce the 18th president of Mercer University, William D. Underwood. Sir.
Well, thank you all for being here for what I think is going to be a very exciting announcement. It's great for me to be in Columbus. I always enjoy being here. I admire greatly what you've been able to accomplish in this community. I think it's a wonderful example of what can be done when people are forward-looking and are willing to work together and are more concerned about what gets done than who gets credit for it. And I think it's really amazing what you all have been able to accomplish in Columbus. We've had a strong presence in Columbus for decades in the form of graduates working in this community. We have thousands of graduates in Southwest Georgia. They're teaching in your schools. They're practicing medicine in your hospitals and your clinics. They're adjudicating cases in your courthouses and serving your community in many other capacities. And I personally enjoy coming here and interacting with people in this community. I've told folks that my first public appearance after I was elected as president of Mercer was not in Macon, where our home is. It was actually here in Columbus at the invitation of Jimmy Elder, and I've been back here many times since, and always enjoy my interaction with people here in this community. 18 months ago, in August of 2010, I looked at my calendar one day and saw that I had a delegation from Columbus that was meeting with me that morning. Two members of that delegation are my bosses, Jimmy Elder, who's a trustee of Mercer University, and Tom Black, who's a life trustee of Mercer University. And they were bringing two very important people to meet with me. Chairman Richard Smith, who of course represents this community very well in the General Assembly, and Mercer alumnus Pete Robinson, who likewise has served this community and our state for many years in leadership capacities. So it was an important group from Columbus who was coming to meet with me, and what they were coming to see me about, it turned out, was to ask me whether Mercer would consider opening a medical school campus here in Columbus, and asked me what would be involved in making that happen. I really hadn't thought about the possibility before that meeting, but I was intrigued, knowing what I know about Columbus and the can-do attitude and spirit here. So I agreed that morning that Mercer would explore the possibility of opening a campus. I suggested that the way to begin would be to send third and fourth year medical students to live in Columbus for 2 years and to complete their clinical training at the hospitals here. And for that to happen, we would need the support and commitment of high-quality hospitals. And of course, you all are blessed with 2 outstanding hospitals in this community, the Medical Center and St. Francis. And we felt as though we would need the commitment of both of those hospitals to make this happen. I told them that should this initial step prove successful, and should there be adequate support in the community for taking the next step of opening a full 4-year medical school campus, we'd be willing to explore that possibility as well. So for the next 18 months, we've been working with the leadership at the 2 hospitals, and leading our effort at Mercer has been a very fine dean of the Mercer School of Medicine, Dr. Bill Bina. And since Bill Bina has done all the work, I think Bill Bina ought to be the person to report to you on the progress that he's made. So Dr. Bina, would you tell folks where we are in this process?
Well, thank you, President Underwood. I really haven't done all the work, as you all really know. But I'm here, and I am pleased to announce the establishment of the Columbus campus of Mercer University School of Medicine. We've been working on this project over the past 1.5 years with our partner hospital, St. Francis, and the Medical Center. This partnership integrates the strengths and resources of all 3 of our institutions. Our goal is to improve medical education, enhance residency training experience, and meet the needs of the Columbus community. Our shared partnership over these past 18 months, and the goal was to really get to the point where we could be here today to open the Columbus campus. And we all know this is just the beginning, because we've got 6 months more to go before the first students come. Now we're here to proclaim that achievement, opening of the campus. About 12 students we expect will begin their clinical education here in July. We anticipate the campus eventually growing to approximately 80 third and fourth year medical students. We're pleased as a university to bring the unique mission of our school to Columbus and West Georgia. In pursuit of that mission, we accept only Georgia residents to our school. And our mission is to educate physicians for service in rural and underserved areas of this state. We expect further to enhance the health care for the citizens of the region and prepare for the much needed physicians coming back to Columbus in the future. This campus expansion will expose a large number of future Georgia physicians to Columbus. It will increase the likelihood that many of them will practice in this area once they complete their medical training. Over the past 18 months, we've already recruited highly qualified, motivated community physicians to be Mercer faculty members. Physician leaders such as John Buchholz, who's in the back here, and Dr. Luther Wolf over on the side have been key to our success this far. I also appreciate the key support and efforts of the hospital, their executive leadership teams led by Robert Granger of St. Francis and Lance Duke of the Medical Center. So thank you both. Additionally, our school's Columbus campus development team, Dr. David Mathis and Ms. Brittany Grant, who are in the back, have been key and have made great contributions, and they've been the ones that have been doing all the work. We recognize that each one of our partners has unique capabilities and resources. Establishment of the Columbus campus for the medical school will not only enhance medical education, but it also promote clinical medical research at both institutions, plus increase research in how healthcare is delivered in Columbus. I look forward with great anticipation to the fruits of our joint new partnership efforts. At this time, I would like to welcome CEO and President Robert Granger of St. Francis to come to the podium.
Thank you, Dr. Bina. It is indeed a privilege to stand here today and be part of this announcement. I do agree with Mike Gaiman from the Chamber that this is one of those remember where you were today because it's a big day type of event that may not seem that way today, but I think 10 years from now we're going to look back on this as radically changing healthcare as it's delivered in Columbus and how we do things. So it is a tremendous day, and it's a privilege to be a part of it. And I want to acknowledge and thank the Chamber for their leadership and involvement in this. I honestly don't think it would have happened without the Chamber being involved and helping to facilitate and smooth over the feathers between two organizations that do occasionally like to compete with each other here in town. I'd also like to thank and acknowledge Jimmy Elder and Tom Black from our community, Mercer Trustees, who came to us with this vision and challenged us to find a way to collaborate and find a way to put the good of the community first and to do the right things. And it's been a privilege to work with them and work with the Mercer folks as we've put this together. If you look around this community, and each of you has a personal physician or has physicians that you see, if you look around this community, you're going to see that the average age of those physicians is far closer to the end of their practice than it is the beginning of their practice. Our medical community is aging. We have outstanding physicians in this community that have served us well. But we have got to plan for the next generation of physicians in our community. We have got to do the things necessary to recruit physicians to our community, and that has proven to not be an easy task. There are college football is big in the South, and everybody understands how hard it is to get a 5-star recruit to come to Auburn or Alabama or anywhere else where you're recruiting. Well, medical school graduates are much like those 5-star recruits. They can go anywhere they want to go. There is a national shortage in just about every specialty of healthcare, and they have plenty of opportunities to choose where they want to practice. And it is vital to the long-term success of our community that we bring those physicians here to practice and replace those physicians that we have that are retiring, and to meet the needs of the aging baby boomer population in our community. So it's vital that this venture succeed and that it do the things necessary to help change Georgia from being 40th in the nation per capita in physicians and to help Columbus deal with our aging physician population. It's absolutely vital. And there is no doubt in my mind that it could not have been successful with only 2 of the partners at the table. It took all 3 of us to come together to make and be able to have the depth and breadth of service that these students need to be able to meet their needs so that they can graduate as fully trained physicians ready to go into a residency program and then ultimately come and practice here, hopefully here in Columbus. So we're thrilled and excited to be a part of it at St. Francis. We absolutely believe education of the next generation of physicians is vital and core to our mission, and we're thrilled to partner with Mercer and with Columbus Regional and know that together the 3 of us are going to make a major difference in our community, and we're very proud to be a part of it. Thank you.
And now I'd like to welcome Mr. Lance Duke, Medical Center President and CEO, to the podium. Lance.
Well, as has been said, this is an exciting day for Columbus and certainly an exciting day in the history of Columbus Regional Healthcare System and the Medical Center. And we're delighted to partner with the Mercer School of Medicine, with St. Francis Hospital, and developing this medical campus here in our community. I appreciate the efforts of everyone involved. Several have already been mentioned, our community leaders, Mercer board members and former board members and others. But I do want to especially and particularly mention the leadership of Dr. John Buchholz, who's in the back of the room. Dr. Buchholz is certainly want to commend him for the leadership on behalf of our organization in putting this partnership together. Dr. Buchholz is the Director of Medical Education and the Director of the Family Practice Residency Program at the Medical Center, and does an outstanding job. So, John, thank you so much for your leadership and assistance in all this. Our involvement in our organization in medical education began over 70 years ago as interns from other medical schools began their rotations here in Columbus at the Medical Center. And in 1972, we established the Family Practice Residency Program as the first of its kind in the state of Georgia and remaining one of the largest in the Southeast. We've trained hundreds of physicians over that period of time, and over 80 physicians in our region are graduates of or receive part of their training at the Medical Center's residency program. So for us, this affiliation means an evolution in medical education that we've had a long and rich tradition and history in serving. And we certainly could not be more excited about this opportunity and this partnership. Future benefits to our community and the goals of the program are clear. We firmly believe that the medical students that will have exposure at this medical campus to Columbus and begin to learn and some begin to love this community will have opportunity as they complete their training to come back to our community in the future to practice medicine. We are charting a new course in the preparation of physicians to meet that growing demand, not only in Georgia but nationally, and we're just thrilled to be a part of that. So again, I want to extend our sincere thanks and appreciation to Robert Granger and Dr. Buchholz for their leadership, again to John Buchholz and the many community leaders who've been a part of this, and particularly Bill Bina. Just a delight to work with him, and it's certainly a privilege and an honor to be a part of the Mercer reputation and the Mercer School of Medicine. So thank you all very much.
The School of Medicine was founded in 1982 as a public-private partnership between Mercer University and the state of Georgia. And the goal was to create a medical school that would be focused on meeting the healthcare needs of Georgia. And the partnership's been enormously successful over the last 30 years. We retain more of our graduates in the state of Georgia than any of the other medical schools in this state, and in fact ranked second of 160 medical schools nationally in the percentage of graduates retained in the home state of the medical school. So we're proud of that record, we're proud of the partnership, and it couldn't happen without the support of members of the General Assembly. And you all have a very strong and supportive delegation here in Columbus. I want to mention members of that delegation who are with us here today: Representative Kip Smith, Representative Debbie Buckner, Senator Josh McCoon, Senator Ed Harbison, Representative Calvin Smyer, and Representative Carolyn Hugley. Let's thank all of these folks for the support that they provide. Now, there's one member of that delegation who I didn't mention, and that's Representative Richard Smith. Richard really played an instrumental role in this. He was a part of the delegation that came to see me in Macon and pointed us in this direction. And Richard, I'd like you to make a few remarks, would you?
There's one representative that he didn't mention. He's not part of our delegation, but we'll claim him anyway. Representative Bubba Epps from just a little east of Macon. Glad you came. Big supporter of Mercer. You know, today's a really significant day in Columbus. When you have Mercer and then you have Mercer's Medical School here, it's not only exciting for today, but can you imagine how much the quality of life will change in Columbus over the next decades just because of Mercer being here? And I mentioned this earlier, but it's also amazing what can happen over a cup of coffee. Those of you who didn't hear this a while ago, I'm going to tell you so the rest of you can turn it off. Pete Robinson and I were having a cup of coffee, and we like to throw around things that try to decide some things that's really good for Columbus. Dream out there some things that might happen. And like I mentioned, we talked about maybe extending 185 down to Interstate 10, things on this magnitude. And then a medical college subject came up. And once that was brought up, the only school that we thought about was Mercer. And then we spoke to my pastor, good friend, and Mercer trustee, Jimmy Elder, and his comments were, let's go to Mercer. So Tom Black, Jimmy Elder, Pete Robinson, and myself went to Mercer. And I was very impressed, and I was also surprised. Now, President Underwood made a statement that, they hadn't really thought about it a lot. He knew more about our medical situation over here than we ever thought about knowing. In 18 months, we've gone from a meeting to this announcement. And there's one little quote I'd like to give you, and I'll sit down after this, but I really want to thank both hospitals and Mercer for making this work, because without them, it never would have happened. But there's a little quote that says, without leaps of dreaming, we lose the excitement of possibilities. Dreaming, after all, is a form of planning. Thank you.
You all know a lot better than I do what Pete Robinson means to this community, and his advocacy on behalf of Columbus mean to this community, and really what he means to the entire state of Georgia. I'm especially proud that he's a graduate of our law school at Mercer, and Pete, of course, as you've heard, was a member of that delegation that came to see me as well. Pete, would you say a few words?
That's the first time I've ever been acknowledged by the president of the law school I graduated from in a positive way. Jimmy Elder said earlier to a group that he was 3 deep in Mercer. I'm kind of a one-off law degree, but I'm proud of it, and I'm proud they were good to me. Mike Gaiman, who embodies a lot of what's great about Columbus and what the chamber does, said earlier that talked about dreams and hopes and hallucinations. I have a little phrase in my office that innovation is the result of credible aspirations. And the aspiration that I had a long time ago, and it wasn't credible, was I was in a Leadership Georgia training class, I'm going to date myself, in 1987. And we spent 2 days in Augusta. And the program, on review, everything in the program, even non-health related, revolved around the impact of the medical college on that community. Well, a long time later, that was an aspiration I'd had for a long time, but the credibility came in talking to Richard Smith and Jimmy Elder and Tom Black. They taught us how to focus that credibility and what it could do. The credibility came from Columbus Regional and St. Francis, the facilities, their abilities, and the cooperative spirit they created. And the credibility came from Mercer recognizing the character of our community. And thank you, President Underwood, and thank you, Dean Bina. The credibility is Mercer recognizing the character of Columbus, and that just makes me proud. It's going to change our community. Thank you.
Richard, I'm glad you acknowledged Bubba Epps. He's a member of the Middle Georgia Legislative Delegation, and it says a lot that he's here, because sometimes there are community jealousies that get involved in these kinds of situations, and the Middle Georgia Delegation is very supportive of our expansion into Columbus, and that's evidenced by Representative Epps' presence here today. I know we have a number of media here, and some of you may have some questions for some of the news conference participants and others, and we'll certainly be available at your convenience. So thank you all for being here. An exciting day.